I'm Karen Large from FluteInAFew.com, and I'm also a flute professor at Florida State University. This is the teaching video for the 2020-2021 Florida All-State 9th and 10th grade band flute technical excerpt. Before you watch, take a second to visit FluteInAFew.com to get the handout that goes with this excerpt. I've also got a performance video of the excerpt, and both links are below. First, a disclaimer. The ideas presented here belong to me alone and do not represent the Florida Music Educators Association. The big idea in this excerpt is that you'll strive for a light, playful character and a relaxed approach to the 16th notes. Shape all phrases and take breaths that do not interrupt the tempo. I have taken the liberty to record myself playing the bottom line, and that way you can practice along with me. So learning the notes. Because this piece goes quickly and there are some technical parts to it, I think it's important to spend some time really learning the notes slowly. The excerpt is in A major, so warm up on your A major scale and arpeggio. The required tempo is quarter equals 116. I recommend starting at 40 and slowly bumping up the speed so that your fingers can develop muscle memory. I have included a tempo chart in the handout, and you can check off your tempo each day. It's important to do all of the dynamics and articulations at slow tempos so that when you get to a faster tempo, playing with expression will feel like second nature. Dynamics. Remember that dynamics are relative. Only play as soft as you're able to maintain a good tone. From that soft dynamic, then you can place your other dynamics in relation to it. You need to add phrasing dynamics to show direction and musicality, and I've suggested some dynamics. Also, just remember that the first notes are a pickup and the measure 1 actually starts on the B, just so that our measure numbers will match up. In measures 1 through 2, crescendo to mezzo piano, 3 to 4, decrescendo. These are kind of like arches that we're creating in the phrases. Measures 5 through 6, crescendo to mezzo forte. Measure 7 through 8, decrescendo. Measures 9 through 10, crescendo to forte. 11 through 12, decrescendo. In the pickup to 13, start piano. Pickup to 14 is mezzo piano. Pickup to 15 is mezzo forte. Then, pickup to 17 is piano. Pickup to 18 is mezzo piano. Pickup to 19 is mezzo forte. The last note should be a forte E with some vibrato and cutting off on the next beat. To avoid cracking the note, make sure your tongue is low in your mouth and your throat is open like you're yawning. Articulation. If you're an adept double tonguer, I recommend double tonguing all 16th notes where there are 2 articulated notes in a row. That'd be in measures 12 through 19. All 8th notes should be light and uplifted, except for the slurred ones, of course. Remember, if you're going to do any double tonguing, you need to do it at a slow tempo. So as you're playing it at 40, you need to do the double tonguing. Don't only start double tonguing once you can't single tongue anymore. Breath control. You should always have at least 20% of your air left in your lungs when you take a breath. If you have less, your support begins to collapse and your tone, intonation, and dynamics suffer. There aren't enough written breaths in this excerpt, so I've added a few. Breathe in measure 4 after the B, E, 8th notes. Breathe in measure 8 after the A, quarter note. In measure 12 after the G, F, 8th notes. And at measure 16 after the A, G, 8th notes. Also, at measure 8, ignore the fermata. That goes with the fine, which we're skipping. Don't forget to engage your support muscles. This makes your breath go farther. So speaking of support, what is it? Support is the engagement of your abdominal muscles, obliques, intercostals, and back muscles, and it allows you to have a consistent airstream through all registers and dynamic ranges. It's incredibly important, and flutists tend to not support on low notes and also soft notes, but they should support all of the time. I like to think of it as a switch. So, turn your support on before you start playing and do not allow it to turn itself off except briefly when you're breathing. Support is when you engage those muscles that I talked about and you can feel it. And you'll notice that if you've never played with consistent support, this will be work for you, okay? It's worth it. You will sound so much better. Mental training. Be sure to do mental training before your audition to set you up for success. So many people learn all the notes and work so hard, but if you don't mentally train, that's half the game. That's half of an audition, is how you prepare mentally for it. One of the things I like to do is think of a challenging audition. Maybe you'd have to play very early in the morning, or maybe your heart rate gets really fast. Maybe you won't be able to take as deep of a breath. Try to replicate these scenarios by playing at 7 in the morning, or running some stairs before playing, or taking the piece extra slow so you can feel what it's like to run out of air. Other ways to mentally train: play for as many people as possible. The feeling of auditioning becomes more comfortable the more you do it. Record yourself and listen back objectively. So when you listen back, pretend like it's not you. Finally, develop a phrase or a mantra that reminds you of how you play when you play your best. And you might even want to write it at the top of your page. Good luck. Best wishes. Contact me if you need anything. The flutists in Florida are talented and motivated, and you're going to do a great job.